In this first season, I'm traveling through Iran. With my own rental car, I'll be discovering if Iran is a safe place to travel. As a photographer, I'll try to meet interesting people to see what's on their mind. I'm here to see if Iran is really that bad. I'm in Isfahan, Iran's second biggest city, which is also home to one of the world's largest squares. Here I meet Majid and Anastasia. He's Iranian and she's Russian. They offer to show me around the square and the adjacent bazaar. Majid has eyes for my camera and starts taking some pictures. When we continue, we run into a group of men with long beards. They are actors in a local theater, and they ask me to take their picture. A couple seconds later, a TV crew shows up. They ask Christian and me for our opinion about Iran. We share our first impressions with them and tell how warm and hospitable the Iranians have been so far. Afterwards, Majid and Anastasia offer to host us for the night, and we agree. But first we wander around the square and bazaar a bit more, which is a rich place filled with a lot of goods and colorful spices. People keep talking to us and are interested in where we come from. In such a big city, I would not expect people to approach me like that, just to welcome me. Only in Iran, I guess. Just before we want to head home for the evening, we meet Andrew, born to an Iranian father and a Guatemalan mother, who grew up in the US. He tells me about his ambitious plans.
Now I'm married and my wife and I decided to come and live here permanently in Isfahan.
And why? Why did you choose Iran now over the US?
The situation in our country is not so good, in my eyes at least. We want to have a family soonish, and the situation for children is not really good. It's not looking too great. We have really dangerous schools. Our laws are favoring guns and drugs. Crime is at an all-time high. It's just not the best place. And then also, our American culture is too easy. And I think here it might be a little bit more difficult, but it's motivation to do better with your life.
If you say, I'm going to Iran, how do people respond?
Abroad or here?
In the US?
Oh, they all thought I was completely nuts. What they show us on the TV over there is nothing like it is in reality. They show us there's no architecture, and obviously there isn't. They show us that's not really civilized. I mean, it's not very much different than anywhere else I've been. There's roads, there's cars, there's stores, there's culture, people are warm. It's not really what they show us over there, and I think it's a tragedy, you know. It causes people to not really want to come to this entire region, pretty much. But hopefully I can maybe change that and tell a lot of people back home, you know, this is what it's like, you know, and hopefully bring more travelers to Iran.
Andrew's answers come across as if he's fed up with the US. I feel he mainly wants to escape from there, and he sees Iran as a logical step, having his roots originating there. From my Iranian descent or not, living in Iran might be just a bit more difficult than just being a tourist.
Okay, so we're here with Majid and Anastasia, and we're trying to get her car. Her car is over here, right?
Yeah. Well, the first one is being moved right now.
Okay.
There are two more down to go. It's actually exiting the parking lot.
It's like extreme efficiency.
Yeah, this is like a Tetris parking lot. I think we'll have to play the waiting game because there's 3 more cars down before we can actually move out.
How are you doing?
Well, this is more difficult than on the F1 track. There's way more traffic.
How is he doing? Great.
I'm very curious about Majid and Anastasia's story, so when we reach their home, I asked them how they met.
I got acquainted about 6 years ago on the internet I wanted to learn Persian and Majid wanted to learn Russian. And then we just understood that we have feeling and then we just talk to each other in English for a year, so no language exchange. And then I came to Isfahan for 2 weeks and we met and we fell in love.
What was your first impression? And now, what is it after those 4 years?
Well, when I first came here, I liked everything. Every food, everything I saw was beautiful for me. I liked people. But now I see it in another way, like a local person. Food became usual for me, and also people, I see them in another way. I notice that they are not sincere like I want them to be, so I can't make like deep relationship here. Iranians really like to have guests. They give them everything they have, but it's boring. When you go to somebody's house, the usual talks are gossips or I don't know what else. But when you become local, everything changes because they don't care too much about you anymore and they become rude sometimes because when you're a foreigner they want to give you a good image of Iran, and when you live in Iran you don't have to pretend anymore. And life is really hard in Iran because prices always go up and wages don't follow them. And it's also very difficult to find a good job if you don't have any relative or friend who can help you.
I don't like anything.
Yeah, we are trying to find at least one good point, but we can't find it. We really want to find, but we can't.
We are going to travel around the world and see where is good for us.
Both of them seem disappointed in Iran. They're saving up some money to go traveling, and we'll see which place will suit them best. I wonder if Andrew will think the same after a couple years. Life in Iran might also have a less friendly side, besides what I'm seeing. In the next episode, I barely survive a massage, I moan like an old man when I have to climb a meter high, and get stuck with my car in the desert. Stay tuned.